Welcome, here's the election according to the latest polls, and let's start. We're now 2 weeks away from election day, which is almost here. We can start off with Oregon. So in Oregon, Triple P, the latest poll from less than a week ago, shows Harris barely winning here by a safe margin of only 12%, so maybe that could be a worry for Harris, but we will see. Now for Nevada, their estimate has Harris up by 0.3% on 538. Last poll from the Telegraph from within the last week has Trump winning by 1% actually, which is quite interesting. So that is a new poll, and that does mean that Trump barely wins this state by around 0.35% in 2024, so a flip from the last polling video. And now for Arizona. In Arizona, Trump leads in the estimate by 1.9%, almost a lean margin, and the Telegraph with another poll has Trump up by 3%, so that does mean almost a 2.5% win for Donald Trump, according to the estimates and the latest polls. And now we can move on to Alaska, which unfortunately no new-ish polls recently, so that does mean Trump wins by around 7-8% probably. And here and now for New Mexico. New Mexico, Harris leads by 7.2%, which is getting a bit tighter, and the newest poll from the Albuquerque from a week ago has Harris up by 9%, so 8-ish% victory for her according to latest polls. And now for the key swing state of Texas. In this race, Donald Trump leads Harris up by 6.8%. on 538, and the latest poll from ActiveVote actually has Trump up by 12, although they're not the most reliable pollsters because that's almost a long month polling thing. So still, that does mean he wins here by around 9% in 2024, so big swing from 2020. Now for his home state in Florida, for this coastal state, Trump leads by 6.1% in the estimate, while the last poll from ActiveVote from just a few days ago has him up by 9%, so that does mean he wins here by around 7 to 8% in 2024. Now for the purple states, and one of the most key races in 2024 in Georgia. For the peach state, Donald Trump leads by 1.6% on the estimate, but the latest poll from the Telegraph has him up by only 1%. Still, that does mean he wins here by around 1.3%, so a lean margin for him. No new polls for South Carolina, so still safe. And now for North Carolina, wish we got more polls, but yeah. In North Carolina, Trump leads by 0.8% on the estimate, and the latest poll from the Telegraph just from a few days ago has him up by 3%, so very good news for Donald Trump, since that does mean he wins here by around like 1.5 to 2% on average, and a very red Sunbelt for Donald Trump actually. And now for Virginia. In this former swing state, Harris easily leads by 7% on the estimate, and the last poll from a handful of weeks ago from Christopher University, has Harris by 11, but estimate 7, so that means a 9% victory for her. And now for Maine, unfortunately, let me check. Yeah, no new polls there, so we just gotta go with what was on the map from the last videos. So that means Maine a large, likely D, while the 2nd district is likely R. And now for another northeastern state for New Hampshire, one of the swing states that Harris is poised to win easily in 2024. Estimate has her up by 6.3%, and the last poll from the University of Massachusetts from a few weeks ago has her up by 9%, so average of those out, that's around a 7 to 8% margin victory for her, so a likely D margin. And now for New York, the estimate has Harris barely up by 13.6%, and the last poll from ActiveVote from a month ago, has her up by 21, so around 17% victory for Harris. They think she's gonna win by the same margin as Biden 2020, but who knows really. Just New York is safe D. And briefly, for New Jersey, let me check if there's any new polls for New Jersey. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any new ones yet, just that one from ActiveVote from a month, that literally took a month. So yeah, still the same margin. And Missouri actually, since we're now going into the Rust Belt, and Missouri actually does have an estimate that shows Trump barely leading by a safe margin, and the 538 estimate by 13.1%. And the last poll, yet again from ActiveVote, has him up by 14, so not an issue for Trump. He wins here by almost 13. Yeah, actually would be 13.6%. And now we can just move on into the 2nd district, I think. Yeah, we can just talk about it. Nebraska, which actually has an estimate now, has Trump winning Nebraska at large by 19%. So that's the major change from this video, unlike the last one, since we had Bullfinch group saying something that, yeah, below safe. Nothing for the 2nd district, so that does mean she wins here by same margin as last time in the 2nd district, and Nebraska at large is actually safe. No worries. Now for Minnesota, where Harris and Walz are getting a bit of a boost because of him. Harris leads by 5.6 here. Last poll from the Telegraph actually has this by 8%, so yeah, that's very high for them. That means around a 6% to 7% victory for Harris and Walz in 2024. And Iowa now. In Iowa, no new poll, unfortunately. We're just waiting on that Seltzer poll, which should come out in a week from now. And that is really the main pollster you should look out for in this state. So yeah, nothing new, just likely are by around probably like 7%. And now for Ohio. Ohio, the estimate shows no huge victory for Trump and Vance here. 8.5% for them. Latest poll, Morning Consult, has them up by 7. So this is actually, if you average those numbers out, that would basically almost mean a repeat of 2020. So yeah, we don't see a boost from Vance helping Trump here. So, but we will see on election day. And now we can move on to Wisconsin. In the Cheesehead state, Harris barely leads in the estimates by 0.2%. But the latest poll from the Telegraph has Harris barely winning here by 1% still. So yeah, that does mean she wins here by 0.5 to 0.75% in 2024, barely though. So I was saying we can now move on to Michigan, the neighboring state of Wisconsin. And in Michigan, yet again, Harris barely leads in the estimate by 0.1%. And the latest poll from the Telegraph, yet again from just a few days ago, has this as an even race. So that does mean Harris barely wins Michigan by the skin of her teeth, and she wins here by 0.05%, some Bush 2000 margins. And finally, for the last state in this video, for Pennsylvania, the decider and the Keystone State shows Trump actually leading in the estimate by 0.4%. And the latest poll from Qantas from just a few days ago has this as a Trump win by 2%. So that does mean Trump wins Pennsylvania by a lean margin of 1.2% in 2024. And this does mean Trump wins with 287 electoral votes, while Harris gets 251 electoral votes. Here's the difference from week 4 to week 2, which the polls show a Trump rise in the latest weeks. This is not my actual prediction, but this is just what the polls are saying overall. Let me know what your map looks like. Feel free to leave a like, join the Discord and the channel membership. And as always, have a good one, and see you next time. Bye.